If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is VSiN PrimeTime. Live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Midway through the first quarter in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals, the Minnesota Timberwolves with a 3-point lead over Oklahoma City. 16-13 is the score. OKC hot from 3, 4 of 6, but turning the ball over. 5 turnovers already against that vaunted Oklahoma City Thunder defense. A 3-point lead right now for the Oklahoma City Thunder as they head to the free throw line, and they are now minus 5.5-point favorites, minus 245 on the money line. Matt, we were watching the replay while we were on air. We had the Hurricanes game on, and the Canes got a goal off of Sebastian Aho's skate, and it was confirmed. Now, I don't know the wording that the referee said, but it was confirmed that it was a goal. And the more we watched it, looks like they got a little bit lucky that thing was not taken off the board, as there was maybe a little kicking motion there from Sebastian Aho of the Hurricanes.
Yeah, very close call. And it looked like he might have made a motion to kick the puck in the net, but it was such a close call. I would not I'm not going to argue about it either way.
Minus 195 are the Panthers on the money line. They lead 2-1 after the first period. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, Matt, have their first lead of the game, 17-16, as Minnesota sloppy against this defense. And look, Oklahoma City is can definitely trust in this defense, and it has looked the part so far tonight from a turnover standpoint, as they have forced 7 turnovers in this one, as they have now a 1-point lead, and they are back to a 7.5-point favorite, Matt Youmans, which is where we were at the start of the game. So you mentioned it. There was an opportunity where the Thunder were around a minus 160 favorite on the money line, and now, just a couple minutes later of hoop action, it's out to minus 260. So
I know. That was a spot maybe to buy low on the OKC. Minus 3.5 or minus 154. Now those numbers are up to 6.5 and minus 260. I did guarantee that you'd be able to get a better number on the T-Wolves and live betting. That has not happened yet, Tim. So hopefully it happens, but it's still 17-16 OKC. But the Thunder have recovered from that slow start. Quick update in baseball. If you're betting against the Colorado Rockies every night, you love to see this. The Phillies scored 3 in the first and on 4 hits, and the Phillies up 3-0 in Colorado. Rockies games are something we need to talk about almost every night. I know plenty of sharp players who are laying the 1.5 or sometimes 2.5 against Colorado on a daily basis. And Tim, can you argue?
Nope. Certainly can't. I mean, think about last night. I know I mentioned it already earlier in the show, but this is why we sit here and live bet and talk about it. And look, I'm kicking myself because I didn't end up pulling the trigger, but hopefully some of you did.
You know who did last night? Our buddy Sam Panayotovich pulled the trigger, and he bet the Phillies plus 240 last
Good for
night.
him.
And, it's perfect timing.
And the Phillies came back. Not only did they win, I mean, they made it easy. Kyle Schwarber hit his 300th career home run, and they went on to a 9-3 win there. Dante DiVincenzo, the big ragu from the corner, a 2-point lead for the Minnesota Timberwolves, as they have now hit 5 3-pointers in this game. The Minnesota Timberwolves have there. Ryan Hyatt, friend of the show, has chimed in. You can always tweet us. I'm at @1TimMurray. Matt's at Matt Youmans 247. He said, fact, Matt Youmans is entirely correct saying it's hokey when pro teams do the whiteout T-shirt thing, and then he dropped a little Cheers reference. No way Norm Peterson, rest in peace to George Wendt, who passed away today at the age of 76, is wearing a white T-shirt to a Celtics game in the 80s. All you need to know.
I'm sure Wes Reynolds is emotional over Norm passing away today. Wes is a TV fanatic. Cheers. I would even say I don't watch many TV shows anymore. I think the TV shows in general produced today suck. as compared to what came out in the 70s, 80s. Great shows like Fantasy Island, and you just don't have stuff like that anymore. Cheers was a great show. That was a top 10 TV show. And,
I went to the Cheers bar in Boston once upon a time.
I've been there too. Yeah. There's a bar here in Las Vegas called Oasis.
Oh, yeah.
You been there?
I have not. I've heard about it.
We hang out there a lot. It's a 24-hour
I've never been invited.
bar.
I'm not cool enough.
We go there. Well, you've been invited many times. So, we've invited Wes Reynolds probably 50 times. He's shown up 5 times.
At 10%.
Wes is like the old, what Howard Stern used to say. He wants to be invited to everything and then show up to nothing. I have an excuse so I can't. I wasn't feeling well. I had to stay home, smoke some cigarettes or whatever.
Jeez.
No, but Wes does like to come out to Oasis. But I always say at Oasis, Tony Miller, the Golden Nugget sportsbook director, is the norm of Oasis. He's there about 5 nights a week, and he's sitting in the same chair. So if you walk in there, say, Tony! And you'll find Tony Miller, the Golden Nugget sports. He's probably over there watching the game right now.
Does everybody know his name?
Yes, they do. Everybody does know his name. Wes Reynolds was last there when we had the Masters golf draft in April. And a bunch of us went up to Oasis that night. Wes Reynolds and Brady Cannon drew the number 1 spot. They had the first pick of the draft.
For which is Masters?
Masters draft. They had the first pick of the draft. They passed on Scotty Scheffler.
Did they
They
take?
passed on Rory McIlroy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who'd they take?
I believe Bryson.
Well, you felt decent after the first couple of holes on Sunday at the Masters that it would come home. Quick update from the WNBA. Caitlin Clark and company, the Indiana Fever, trying to come back. A feverish comeback here for the Fever as Caitlin Clark has 25 points tonight, Matt. And I believe her prop, I have to double check. I think it was 22.5. I'll double check it. She has 5 3-pointers, but the Atlanta Dream currently in the lead there. And I imagine the Atlanta Dream were a significant underdog tonight. Yes, they were. They were a 7-point dog right now, Matt, and they lead by 6.
I saw one sportsbook today report that there was some sharp action on the Atlanta Dream in that game. And I would say very good bet that Wes Reynolds is actually watching that game right now. The 2 biggest Indiana Fever fans I know are Indy Jeff Seeley and Wes Reynolds. I guarantee those guys are watching that game right now. And Indiana Fever get back-to-back home games to start the season, but it looks like they might drop game number 2 tonight.
Yeah, they are trying to make the comeback here. So we'll keep you updated on the final of that game. This was from John Ewing. Caitlin Clark over 20.5 points. Most bet WNBA prop tonight. 66% of the money on the over. Go ahead and cash your tickets. She has gone over that.
First of all, as a sports book, as a bookmaker, why would you set the number that low?
She only had 20 in the season opener.
Doesn't matter. You know you're going to get over action on that. On 20, Caitlin Clark?
Who's
going to be betting the under?
Set it at 30.
Set it at least at 22.5, 23.5, whatever. 20.5, even I would bet that over the total. She had a triple-double in the first game, by the way.
She did. 13-1, I think, were the odds out there if you were able to grab that as one prominent, I don't even call him a media member, but
Portnoy?
Yeah, prominent voice out there. Made a whole bunch of cash on that. 19-17 our score right now, under 3 minutes to go, first quarter. This from Jay King, who covers the Celtics, and he said the T-Wolves are going to average 20 turnovers per game in this series. It's so hard to beat the Thunder if you can't take care of the ball. Just feels like the Wolves' sloppiness will make this a terrible matchup for them. So we'll see if that ultimately is the case. But
they're firing threes.
The Wolves are firing threes.
I'll tell you what, the T-Wolves look like the Celtics right now. They've got 10 3-point attempts here in the first quarter with 2 minutes to go, 5 for 10 from 3. So they're off to a pretty good start. But, man, they are jacking up the threes here early.
It's 2-point lead.
OKC, is this a troubling trend here for the Thunder, Tim? These slow starts.
Yeah, I mean, you think back to, you even think back to Game 7, as you alluded to, down 21-10, and quickly came back, had the halftime lead, and then ran away and hid. But yeah, I mean, you'd rather get off to quicker starts, but right now a 2-point lead as Chet Holmgren heads to the free throw line. 5.5 is the number, but we have seen the total dip down to 210.5 right now. Matt Youmans in this one.
Well, I would, I don't know, the first quarter, of this NBA game's a bit of a grind. Tim, I think the pace is going to pick up, similar to what we saw on Sunday between the Thunder and the Nuggets. I think the pace is going to pick up. This has just been a ugly first quarter. OKC with 11 free throw attempts. T-Wolves with 0 so far, but the T-Wolves settling for a lot of long-range jump shots. So that's a big reason for that statistic and the disparity in free throw attempts. There's as I'm speaking, another three-point attempt by the T-Wolves. I think we got a dead ball on the floor. But anyway, 19-17, this game has really slowed down.
Yeah, it has grinded to a halt here. Oklahoma City, Chet Holmgren missing a couple free throws, as you alluded to, and now we got a flagrant foul. Some sort of technical was called here on the Oklahoma City Thunder. A couple baseball updates for you. The Boston Red Sox are looking to make it 2 in a row, Matt, against the New York Mets, as Walker Buehler was ejected from this game, but the bullpen has picked up the slack. It is 2-0, bottom of the 8th inning there at Fenway Park, so down to just 3 outs here for the New York Mets. Juan Soto wondering after the lack of hustle yesterday at Fenway Park, 1 for 3 today with a walk and a strikeout.
Batting .247, Juan Soto. He's going to have to pick it up.
Hey, folks, just a reminder, we got a great deal going on over at VSiN.com. Matt Youmans went up to Bill 80 and he said, we need a better deal. 12 months for $240, not going to cut it. How about $199 for 14 months? We're throwing in 2 free months. You get everything we have as a VSiN Pro subscriber, including, Matt, before you know it, NFL betting guide, college football betting guide. You'll get our college basketball betting guide over the next 14 months. VSiN.com/subscribe. The promo code is PRO to get $199 for 14 months, ladies and gentlemen, for that VSiN Pro subscription. 20-17, slow game so far, but
first quarter.
The Thunder is going to tie it up here on this possession, and they are a 5.5 point favorite, -$2 on the money line.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is VSiN Primetime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Keep it rolling here on VSiN Primetime, live from the Circus Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas. That's Matt Youmans. I'm Tim Murray. A couple finals to get to from Major League Baseball here on this Tuesday evening. But let's update you on the 2 playoff games. Second period, Matt, underway in Raleigh, North Carolina. It is 2-1, the lead for the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. They are a -215 favorite. Carolina is +165 on the live line at DraftKings. Total is 6.5 juiced over at -$1.88. This thing closed 5.5 juiced under. And now it is 6.5 juiced over after 3 first period goals. Matt, we updated folks on this NBA or this WNBA game, and I want to get folks an update here in a moment. But the NBA first quarter in the books, sluggish first quarter, 23-20. The T-Wolves have the lead. Minnesota, 5 3-pointers, but 6 turnovers for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Thunder shooting just 6 of 17 from the field, 1 of 5 from the three-point line. They did get to the line, though, 11 times. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading the way with 9 points.
Well, the Thunder had 6 made field goals in the first quarter, but the free throw shooting was a big key. Like you said, 7 for 11. Shot 1 for 5 from 3. Pretty unimpressive offensive first quarter for the OKC Thunder. See if they pick it up here in the second. I still think that spot you had to buy low on OKC is probably not going to come back. I think the Thunder are going to pick it up here. They got as low as 3.5-point favorites, minus 154 in the money line. I'm expecting to see a much better second quarter here from OKC.
23-20 is the score right now, and just taking a look at some of the options out there. 4.5 is the number, minus $1.88 on the money line right now for this game. And if you think the Thunder will win this game, but the T-Wolves will lead at the break, you can actually bet right now, Matt, T-Wolves to lead at the half, Thunder to win the game at plus 330. And if you think the Thunder will lead at the half and win the game, you could actually get that now at plus 130. So a couple of options still out there from a live standpoint there at DraftKings this very moment. How about this finish, Matt? And we mentioned the score there for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. The Fever were 7-point home favorites tonight, and they have lost 91-90. 2 free throws made by the Atlanta Dream. They actually squandered the lead. Indiana had the lead, and the Dream get a couple of free throws, and they end up winning that game 91-90. So you mentioned you had seen a sportsbook talk about a sharp bet come in on the Atlanta Dream.
There were sharp bets coming in. I think I bet MGM today on the Atlanta Dream. So it was not just one bet. It was sharp action on the underdog in that game. And it was a smart play because the Atlanta Dream pretty much led this game wire to wire. Like you said, gave up the lead a little bit there at the end. But I followed the game a little bit from the start, and the Atlanta Dream had the lead pretty much the whole way. I just can't imagine as a bookmaker why you would put Caitlin Clark's points prop at 20.5. She was 9 for 20, 5 3-pointers made, 27 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds. You're going to see these point prop totals on Caitlin Clark get adjusted. Pretty soon you're going to be seeing 22.5, stuff like that.
Oh, sweet Moses.
What happened?
Oh, God. Chris Massaro has chimed in. Too many people are complaining about my negativity with the greatest team ever, the Oklahoma City Thunder. The ever-sarcastic @MeJVT has jumped off the OKC bandwagon, but for the sanity of @1 Tim Murray and Jimmy Ott, I'm going to remain positive. Okay. He's going to be positive? We'll see how it all plays out. I think it was funny because I was keeping tabs on our guy, Chris Massaro, who we love, but we like to give jabs to from time to time. And he was immediately writing off the Thunder as they trailed 21-10. And then magically, Matt, he didn't really tweet the rest of Sunday afternoon. I don't know what happened. He must have lost his phone or something.
What happened was the Thunder came back and won the game in a blowout, and he relaxed. He was able to have an enjoyable Sunday afternoon and not tweet 15 times about how the Thunder suck. The Thunder struck the Nuggets and blew them out, and it happened there in the second quarter. One thing, Timmy, you watch these teams in the playoffs and you see trends develop. What I've seen from the Thunder is a team that gets off to slow starts and picks it up in the second quarter, picks it up in the third quarter. That's what I'm expecting to see tonight. There's Dante DiVincenzo with a 3-point miss. Man, the T-Wolves are not shy to put up these threes tonight.
Quick update from the ice, Matt. The Panthers, your defending champs, are up 3-1 now. So the Florida Panthers have now made it a 3-1 game. So the Canes cut into the deficit, and the Florida Panthers here early on in this second period have now made it 3-1. So a very strong start for the Florida Panthers. A.J. Greer scores his second goal of the postseason, and it comes at 3:33 in the second period, and it is now a 3-1 lead, Matt, for the Florida Panthers. Taking a look at where we are from a live total, back to 7.5, minus 105 to the over. So once again, if you had bet the over in Panthers-Canes tonight, which our buddy Ian Cameron did, the Canadian kid, he also bet the first period over. You are feeling in decent shape right now. Tie ball game in Oklahoma City, 24 apiece. How about the total, Matt, in this one? It was 219.5. It is now down to 200.5. 24-24 T-Wolves and Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Thunder, man, they are just going to fire threes, it seems like, throughout this series against this potent defense that is Oklahoma City.
Are we watching the Boston Celtics or the Minnesota T-Wolves here? There's jacking up threes. That shot by DiVincenzo was a brick off the back of the rim, no chance. Thunder drive the lane, and I think that was Jalen Williams who lost the ball in a turnover. Man, this has been an ugly offensive game so far, but OKC right in it, tied at 24. There's another 3-point miss by the T-Wolves. Live line is OKC minus 5.5. Like you said, the total all the way down to 198.5.
Man, Dante DiVincenzo, by the way, has already attempted 5 3-pointers off the bench tonight. But, you know, the worry you would have if you're an Oklahoma City backer is the offense. You have certainly concerns. The defense is going to be there. This is an elite defensive team. You saw that at moments against the Denver Nuggets. You saw it clear as day in game number 7, Matt. And right now we will see how this plays out. But Minnesota is going to regain the lead here on this possession. Oklahoma City shooting just 8 of 23 from long range here in this game. Isaiah Hartenstein has been strong at the rim. He's got 8 points, 4 of 4 from the field so far in this one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has 9 points right now as Julius Randle, he's the one who buries a 3. So the 6th 3-pointer of the game. And Julius Randle, 3 threes for Julius Randle, 10 points for him. And he is, it's funny, Matt, you would have never thought it when we had the trade happen this summer. Karl Anthony Towns for Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. We could see those two teams meet, theoretically, in the championship in the NBA.
I actually liked what the what the T-Wolves got in that deal. I've always liked Randle. I've always liked DiVincenzo. I've never bought into all the Karl Anthony Towns hype. So I kind of like that trade from the Timberwolves perspective. And it's obviously – Randle is he's guys delivered big time here in the playoffs for the T-Wolves. And right there, he's tried to do a little too much. Put on a Globetrotters ball handling display and
another turnover.
Bowled over a defender and gets an offensive foul there. We are tied at 27 now. And how about the money line price? OKC and Minnesota tied at 27. Thunder minus 210 still on the money line. 5.5-point favorites live. I should mention, Tim, that we get some tweets during the show. We got one from Michael Alasko.
Hello, Michael.
And he was replying to the tweet we put out about the show lineup tonight. And he said, keep picking against the Panthers. So there's a disgruntled Florida Panthers fan who didn't like the fact that Tim Murray and Adam Burke both picked against the Panthers tonight, right?
Yeah, I was oozing confidence in that selection too. Well, he's looking right in that spot as Julius Randle hits another one, Matt. 4 threes for Julius Randle. He's got 13 points right now for the Minnesota Timberwolves as they have attempted, ladies and gentlemen, already 18 threes. And there's Isaiah Hartenstein with 10 points for him. He's got that little floater that drives me crazy, especially from the baseline, but he hits it from the key and makes it a 1-point game. He was
about to hit another 3 here to go up 33-29. So the live line down to 3.5 again. The money line all the way down to 165.
Hey, folks, Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. Earn cash back rewards. 100% approval for all betting deposits. You can sign up today. edgeboost.bet with the promo code PRIME, PRIME. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. edgeboost.bet. Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the corner, Matt. 33-29, 7:01 to go. Timeout on the floor. And the Minnesota Timberwolves just a 3.5-point dog right now as they lead by 4 with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the sports betting network.
6 and change to go, Matt, in the second quarter of Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. A 33-31 lead for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Slater, who covers the NBA and the Warriors for The Athletic, tweeted this out just 3 minutes ago, Matt. Anthony Edwards has just emerged from the locker room at the 7:01 mark of the second quarter, spent 5 minutes of game time back there, but looks like he is re-entering immediately. And
what was the situation? Was he injured or had to use the restroom?
I think he was a little injured. He seemed to maybe tweak the ankle a little bit. He had some sort of contraptions on his knees to get out there. But Julius Randle, man, he is balling tonight.
The player
folks.
of the game so far, Julius Randle, with that turnaround J on the baseline, 35-31 T-Wolves.
Smooth.
5.5 minutes to go.
Julius Randle tonight, 15 points already, 4 3-pointers as the T-Wolves have a 4-point lead. What is Rudy Gobert doing? Don't give Rudy Gobert. They used to always yell out, "Don't give the ball to bigs with space on the break." And they tried to do it. I don't know. Rudy Gobert tried to throw up some crazy shot just a moment ago. But I'll say this, Matt, right now about the Thunder. Boy, they are struggling offensively. Right now, the Thunder, 11 of 32 from the field, 2 of 7 from the line.
This is why your friend Chris Massaro, is that Julius Randle again?
Julius Randle is on fire, folks.
Look at this guy.
He's got 18 points.
Like Michael Jordan back in the 90s.
He's 5 of 6 from 3.
You see him smiling? He's got it going right now. And he knows it. 38-31 T-Wolves. Thunder down now to 1.5-point favorites, minus 115 on the money line. Now's your buy low spot if you haven't bought in yet.
Would you look at the Thunder here, or are you concerned?
I would. You got to be concerned. First of all, we're talking about this with Rick Kamala in the first hour tonight. I think you have to be concerned with the OKC Thunder from what you've seen in the playoffs so far, because they got dragged to 7 games by a Nuggets team that had 3 players, and really a Nuggets team that showed up with 1 player in Game 7. I'm not all that impressed with what OKC did in that series against Denver. You've seen that this team can bog down in the half court on offense. A lot of times Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has to bail them out and when they have bad offensive sets. I think, Tim, you have to separate the regular season from the postseason. And that's what we've seen with OKC, and that's what we saw with the Cleveland Cavaliers. These teams were great. The efficiency numbers were off the charts in the regular season. Playoffs are a different game, and you're seeing OKC get exposed. You're seeing some of the flaws show up here in the postseason.
38-31 right now, the score. Minnesota with the lead
this
over.
Half-court offense stinks, by the way. SGA's got to create something off the dribble, get to the free throw line. That's how OKC is scoring in the half court. And what do you think of the coaching, too? Because it's an inexperienced coach, and I have not seen him make many adjustments to really pull the Thunder out of this offensive funk.
I'll say this. You look at the coaching that is left right now in the NBA playoffs. You've got Mark Daigneault, who is, I think, going to be coach of the year. You've got Chris Finch, who I'm a big fan of what he's done with Minnesota. You've got Tom Thibodeau, who, veteran coach. I have some questions about him, but regardless, his teams always play their ass off for him. And then I think the best coach is Rick Carlisle, remaining in the NBA playoffs. Already a champion. I think he's done an amazing job there in Indiana over the past couple of years. But we'll see for Mark Daigneault. But right now, 4-point lead for the Minnesota Timberwolves, Matt, with 3:19 to go. Your total sitting at 200.5, closed at 219.5. And we saw over money, right? This number moves 6 points to the over. And right now, 40-36, Thunder, a minus 140 favorite. Quick look at what's happening on the ice, Matt, as the Florida Panthers continuing to lead the Carolina Hurricanes. They're out to a minus 660 favorite on the money line. If you want the Hurricanes and you think they could come back here, plus 420 is the number. 3-1 is the score. 8:24 to go in the second period there, Matt, for that one.
Getting a lot of feedback from the audience tonight. Corey Yeager of North Dakota tweets in and says, "I'm so glad you guys are on tonight. I can't stand Doris Burke. I would listen to Tim Murray instead of Doris Burke any night of the week." There you go.
Thank you.
And he also took the T-Wolves plus the points and T-Wolves on the money line. Timmy, I think that was a compliment to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, I think. Or is it like, God, I'd listen to Tim Murray for the love of God over Doris Burke there. I think
he's got to feel pretty good about the T-Wolves points and money line bets at this point. Now, you got a long way to go in these NBA games. You can never feel comfortable because the game can turn in an instant before you know a 10-point lead's a 10-point deficit. We saw it in the previous series between the Thunder and the Nuggets.
Well, it's funny because we talked about it last night, and I got stubborn. I thought that the tax was a little bit too much. Was hoping to get an in-game bet on the T-Wolves here, and that has not come to life any point here. I guess you could have got 7.5 when it tied up late in the first quarter, but right now, media timeout, 3:19 to go, Matt, 40-36 is the score. Yesterday, we were playing a couple of clips. I had Warren Sharp on my weekend show, the VSiN Weekend Morning Line, 10 to 1 p.m. Eastern every Saturday and Sunday. Just throwing it out there. And Warren Sharp does a great job analyzing the schedule when it comes out and talking about the rest either advantages or disadvantages that are out there. And the Dallas Cowboys, Matt, win total 7.5 this year for the Dallas Cowboys in that NFC East. And this is Warren Sharp on a chunk of games there in the middle portion of the schedule for the Dallas Cowboys that is pretty brutal. So here's Warren Sharp on the Dallas Cowboys schedule. Let's get to the Dallas Cowboys because they always play on Thanksgiving. We always know that. They're playing the Kansas City Chiefs this year. But that little stretch, and, as a bettor, you look for these spots, right, where somewhere in the schedule you're like, wow, that is a really tough stretch. The Dallas Cowboys right before Thanksgiving and to that Thanksgiving game, that is a pretty rough stretch, right, Warren?
It is. And look, the NFL did something unprecedented last year, and they made 10 different teams play 3 games in 10 days. They had taken that out of the schedule from a competitive balance and a player health and safety aspect and removed that. But last year they reintroduced it. They realized they made a mistake. Credit to the schedule makers. They dropped that down this year. But there's still one team that has to play 3 games in 10 days, even though the NFL said they're going to try to reduce that or remove it entirely from the schedule. And that one team is the Dallas Cowboys. And that stretch that you just mentioned is the stretch where they will play 3 games in 10 days. It starts week 11 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Your team, they're out in Las Vegas. They're on the road Monday Night Football in Las Vegas week 11. They come home on a Sunday and play the Philadelphia Eagles. They are at a rest disadvantage against the Philadelphia Eagles because they just played Monday night out in Las Vegas. And then they play the following Thursday on Thanksgiving against the Kansas City Chiefs. So they are on short rest yet again for that game. That's 3 games in a span of 10 days. They're the only team that has to deal with that. And quite frankly, Tim, I don't understand why they are being dealt that card. The NFL, the only reason that card is being dealt is because the Raiders game is on Monday Night Football. And there's no real reason to put that Raiders game on Monday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys are playing on Monday Night Football the prior week. For them, they have a bye in between. But week 9, the Cowboys are playing Monday Night Football against the Arizona Cardinals. So week 9 and in week 11, we're going to have to see the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Does not make a whole lot of sense to me why they forced them to do that, but that's going to be one of several brutal stretches for the Dallas Cowboys and the only particular stretch that any team in this league has to deal with, the 3-10 this season.
The only team, Matt, that has to play 3 games in 10 days is the Dallas Cowboys this year. Week 11, Monday Night Football at Las Vegas. Sunday, home to Philly. Thanksgiving, home to Kansas City.
I mean, the positive of that is you have 2 of the tougher games in your schedule, 2 Super Bowl teams back-to-back at home. At least you get them at home. Home games against the Eagles and the Chiefs, right? And if you're going to play that Thanksgiving game every year, you're going to have to quirk in the schedule sometimes. It's going to work against you if you're going to play that Thursday game. I actually like the Cowboys offseason. I think quietly they've done some really good things. Picked up George Pickens, wide receiver from Pittsburgh. Had a good draft. Cowboys went 7-10 last season, but they were 2-7 at home, Tim. 3-3 within the division. I think the key for the Cowboys is pretty obvious. You got to keep Dak Prescott healthy. Dak played 8 games last season. If the Cowboys got to try to make it work with backup quarterbacks, it's not going to work. So Dak Prescott, very similar to what Aaron Judge means to the Yankees. If Judge goes down for an injury and he misses a month, the Yankees are screwed. If Dak Prescott goes down, the Cowboys are screwed. I really think that Dak being back, if he stays healthy, you're going to see a jump in this Cowboys team. They're going to be much more competitive. And I think that 7.5 on the win total, I might actually lean over on that. But we can't sit here today and predict if Dak's going to stay healthy. But to me, that's the whole key to the win total for the Cowboys. If he does, I think the Cowboys could be a 10-7 type team.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are inching closer to being a favorite on the live line as they lead by 7, 45-38 with a minute and a half to go in the second quarter. And Matt, they are now the betting favorite, are the T-Wolves. Hey, folks, make sure you check out the Sharp Plays over at sharpplays.com. They're respected, watched, and feared Sharp Plays over at sharpplays.com. 7-point lead for the T-Wolves at OKC.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is VSiN PrimeTime on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Julius Randle, a playoff career high 5 3-pointers in this opening half as the Minnesota Timberwolves have a 48-40 lead right now over the Oklahoma City Thunder in the closing seconds of the first half, Matt. And the question will beg, will the Thunder come back and win this game as they trail now by 6? The T-Wolves a short favorite right now on the money line at DraftKings.
A lot of time left in an NBA game when you got a half to work with. You got a hell of a lot of time to work with. It's 48-42 T-Wolves. 2 seconds to go in the half, according to the live betting screen here. So OKC back to the favorite, -1.5 and -135. And don't forget, OKC is an odds-on favorite to win the NBA championship. Tim, if you've been watching, and I think we're going to have free throw attempts. What do we got here for OKC right before the half? If you've been watching OKC here in the last couple of weeks, you would not say this team deserves to be an odds-on favorite to win the NBA title. But when you look around the league, Minnesota, Indiana, New York, the teams that are left, there's no doubt OKC is a clear favorite. Yep. I just have not been impressed by the way this team's played in the postseason. To me, it comes down a lot to the style of play. So much different in the regular season than it is in the playoffs. And OKC didn't play a lot of tight games during the regular season. Those efficiency numbers were off the chart. When this team gets in a half-court offense, it can be pretty ugly. And we're seeing that in the first half tonight. 48-44 at the half. Thunder -1.5, Thunder -160. That's where we stand at DraftKings at halftime.
Could have gone without those 2 late Isaiah Joe free throws. I was hoping to get OKC at a better price to win this game, but now -154 is the money line price. We'll see what those second half numbers as they start to pop up across the betting market, Matt. On the ice real quickly before we get a little MLB preview or update, I should say. 3 minutes to go, second period. The Panthers still remain up 2 goals as they lead 3-1. And we saw a 7.5 in the live market. It is now drifted down to 6.5, -15 both ways, and -1050 on the money line for the Florida Panthers. If you think the Canes could come back, Matt, 6-1 is the money line price for the Carolina Hurricanes, now +650. So the Panthers doing what the Panthers tend to do, and they lead 3-1 in that one. Matt, at Yankee Stadium, he did it again. Mm-hmm. Your AL MVP runaway favorite, Aaron Judge, has gone yard again.
Aaron Judge, home run number 16, and Yankees up 5-0 on the Rangers. We're into the 9th inning in the Bronx with 1 out, so the Yankees trying to close out the shutout here. It was Warren who started the game. Leiter, Williams, and Hamilton followed. Yankees allowed 6 hits tonight and playing pretty good baseball after taking 2 of 3 from the Mets over the weekend, getting that big win on Sunday night. You know what game I'm really annoyed that I didn't bet today? I looked at it last night.
Phillies, Rockies?
No. I did bet that.
You did, yeah.
I did run down before, right before the game started and bet the Phillies. I told Tim, got to do it tonight. Got to bet the Phillies. And they had a chance to really blow this game open and haven't done it. Phillies have 3 runs on 8 hits, and they're up 3-0, bottom of the 4th. But the game I looked at last night and said, you know which team's starting to slump a little bit? Has got a long trip and is in a tough spot against a good pitcher? The Padres. I looked at the Blue Jays, and I thought they'd probably be a good bet today. I didn't make the bet. Well, Blue Jays only had 3 hits, but they won the game 3-0.
Vladdy Guerrero Jr. hit a shot.
Home run for Guerrero Jr. Blue Jays win 3-0. Padres get 5 hits, and the Padres had a bad weekend at home at Petco against the Mariners. And
Got swept.
Starting to fall back off the pace a little bit in the National League West. They're lucky the Dodgers have lost 4 in a row. But Chris Bassett put it on the Padres tonight, and a little bit upset. Sometimes you regret a bet you don't make, and that's one where I thought the Blue Jays were in a good spot, and Padres in a bad one.
We got you a couple thoughts on the game still to come, but we are at the half, 48-44. Once again, your halftime score in Oklahoma City. So 4 late points from the Thunder to now move to a 2.5-point favorite from an in-game number. So if you equate that out, that's minus 6.5 for the second half there. At DraftKings, Circa is at -7. So DraftKings would be a better number if you're looking to get in on the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you're looking to bet the Minnesota Timberwolves, well, Circa would be the better spot for you because you can get +7 for the second half, which would be +3 for the full game.
What do you think happens here in the second half? OKC come back to win this game? It feels like the T-Wolves should have a bigger lead at halftime.
Yep.
As poorly as the Thunder played offensively for long stretches there in the first half.
I'm going to lay it with the Thunder here. I was hoping to be 48-42, and maybe we get like a pick 'em or somewhere in that ballpark. But I'll lay it a little bit more here. You look at Minnesota. Look, Julius Randle, he's capable of continuing it, but he was exceptional in that first half, and to be 5 of 6 from 3, to have 20 points. Anthony Edwards had 13 points. Remember, went off the floor for a little bit. Oklahoma City, Matt, 15 of 40 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 2 for 13 in the first half from the field. Did get to the line 9 times. I think you get a little bit of a bounce back here from SGA. I think the Thunder win this game. So look around. I think you'd find the cheapest price, and I think that's what I'm ultimately going to do here. Thunder to win this game. And I can't decide if I want to lay the money line, which is -154, or lay the 2.5 with the Thunder right now. But I think I'm going to get in on the Thunder here.
We go -154, small bet.
Yeah.
I do think this game's going to go down to the wire, and wouldn't be surprised if the Thunder pulled out of the fire here and win the first game. I'll tell you what, if OKC does not win tonight, what do you think the adjustment's going to be in Game 2? Because I think you're going to see OKC maybe an 8.5-point favorite in Game 2, and the first quarter and the first half numbers are going to be inflated in that game.
That is a certainty. So you think back to last series, Matt. Game 1. OKC with the massive rest advantage against Denver closed a 10.5-point favorite. They lose 121-119. Game 2, you actually saw an adjustment down to 10, and Oklahoma City went out and absolutely obliterated the Denver Nuggets 149-106. So yeah, if they don't come back tonight, which I certainly hope they do, I think you will see a uptick. And even if it opens 8, don't you think some sharp guys are going to immediately lay the wood with the Thunder here to bump this thing up?
I would think so.
Yeah,
I would. That's what I would anticipate happening. Typical wagering patterns in the NBA playoff situations like that. Rangers get a solo homer from Jonah Heim with 2 outs in the 9th. So the Yankees up 5-1. They're going to win the game, but could not close out the shutout in the Bronx.
How about this, Matt? So we mentioned this. Caitlin Clark goes over her player prop tonight.
2-run shot. Sorry, 2-run homer, 5-2. Go ahead.
So Caitlin Clark goes over her player prop. However, the Atlanta Dream do beat the Indiana Fever as a 7-point road dog as they get the win there. You mentioned a couple books reported some sharp action on the Atlanta Dream. I can't believe this stat is true. Caitlin Clark now has the most games in WNBA history with 25-plus points and 10 assists in a game.
Serious?
Yes.
Already?
Yeah, already.
She's played for a little more than one season.
1 year and 2 games. And she's already set the WNBA record for 25-plus point, 10-plus assist games. That's absurd.
And if you've watched the Fever, and I'm not going to admit to watching much of the Indiana Fever, but I know those who have, and I see the comments on social media. She would have her assist totals would be a lot higher if she had teammates who could make more shots, which is true in every case, but she's got teammates missing easy shots. That's the point.
Triple-double in Game 1, 20, 10, and 10, and now tonight 27 and 11 in the losing effort as the Dream, as a 7-point dog, get the win. The Fever had the lead with a free throw late, but the Dream get a couple of free throws and win that one 91-90. 48-44, our halftime score. Once again, the second half lines are starting to pop up all across the betting markets right now. Circa sits at -7 for the second half, and South Point actually out to 7.5. So if you do think the Thunder come back, Matt, DraftKings would be the best spot for you because that is -2.5, which equals 6.5. So get DraftKings if you have the access to that. DraftKings would be the spot for you. End of the second period, Matt, real quickly before you give us an update. End of 2 periods, Florida 3-1 lead, and now that total, which was at 7.5 in game, is now 6.5, -154 to the under. So pre-flop was 5.5. You got a little bit of life there at the under 5.5, even though the likelihood of an empty netter seems very much in the cards here. But the Panthers, a 3-1 lead over the Canes, -1450 for the Panthers. If you think the Canes can come back, +750.
Michael Alasko on Twitter called out Adam Burke and Tim Murray for doubting the heart of the champion. Keep picking against the Panthers, guys. You picked against the Panthers. Hey, by the way, the Yankees have not closed it out. You got a triple. Aaron Boone's got to go to the bullpen and call in Luke Weaver. So it's 5-2 with a runner on third, 2 outs. The Yankees have not won this game yet. And by the way, the Rockies are on the board. Philadelphia 3, Colorado 1.
It is VSiN PrimeTime. Still another hour to go. Come on back.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.